Hey everybody, this is Chauncey Hunter Jr. with Real Tax Business Success. Very excited today. We're doing a short interview. One of our expert speakers coming up. We've got, I don't know if you all have heard, but I'm actually celebrating 30 years in the tax industry. Yes, I know I look that old, but a lot of things have happened in the last 30 years. Got in this business in 1990. Now we're at 2020 and everything under the sun feels like it's hit this year. And since tax season is officially over, the extended tax season, we thought it would be a really good time to get a ticket and come to this virtual Tax Pro Success Summit. And it's happening at the end of the month on July 29 and 30th. And so what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to just do a quick couple of interviews with some of the speakers that are going to be participating in this summit. And so one of the speakers is somebody outside of the tax industry. Let me just push pause real quick and explain what I'm doing. What most tax seminars, accounting professionals, IRS shows you go to, everybody's going to be within the tax industry. Let me tell you how the secret sauce that helped me build a $4.3 million tax business out of a $50,000 two-room office was I went in the beginning 30 years ago outside of the tax industry and looked to other gurus, other people that were smart in their area, took what they were doing and I applied it to my tax business. That helped us grow significantly faster than everybody else around us. And then I taught those same, that's when a few years later we started the consulting and coaching business and I started teaching other tax and accounting professionals to do the same. Same thing applies here. Our first guest speaker is not from the tax industry. If you're smart, you're going, wow, this is ought to be interesting. Because why would I bring this guy into the tax industry? Well, that's exactly why we're going to be having this conversation. We're having let me introduce Randy Schrum to you. And I don't know, Randy, if maybe you have talked to people in the tax industry before. I don't know. Have you ever done any work? Because Randy's a coach and a consultant and he works with all kinds of businesses, but maybe you maybe I overspoke. Do you do work in the tax industry at all?
This is actually new in actually speaking to an audience in the tax industry. So on that level, no. I have consulted with a handful of clients, but not at this level, no.
Okay. So why don't you just share, I mean, you're an e-commerce expert when it comes to generating revenue for businesses, and a lot of times what you bring to the table is extra. It's like the side revenue streams that nobody really thinks about, that really is the money that makes the whole thing go, like where at the end of the month where the profit is. And so why don't you speak a little bit to your background and what you do when you come into businesses and how this is even why it's even important for you to be talking to a tax or accounting professional.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm first of all, again, thanks for having me. And I will just piggyback. I'll share my background, but I'll piggyback on what you were saying though. And one of the keys to success and like you building over a $4 million practice is getting the right information and going out there and acquiring it, whether it be within your circle or outside your circle. And one of the things that I've done over my 20 plus years, now 22 years in business is I'm a student of going out there and getting the information and going, in all types of channels to learn strategies and even observe things outside my own circle to say, how can I apply it for me? And so that has allowed me in the e-commerce space to accomplish some pretty significant things where, we've had 50, 100,000, 200, 300, $400,000 days in our business, not just weeks or months, but literally where we'll do a webinar or we'll do a promotion. We drive millions of actions a year, and sometimes we drive millions of actions and I'm talking about with digital advertising and marketing in a month. And with that, I think what's interesting is where are things headed? And so what I've been asking myself over the last several months, and this is something that I try to do in my digital and e-commerce business, and I've tried to do this now for about 12 years, where I try to extrapolate out, and this is something you guys are familiar with, and that is what is estimating what the future looks like. How can I pivot? And that probably makes a little bit of sense to you, but the point is how do I do that from a marketing and a sales perspective? Where's my company headed? And can I get ahead of that trend, or can I get ahead of that and profit from it somehow? And so that's where my head and our business has been over the last several months. Again, we've done this, we've seen this happening, but we're really in a season of where I would call pivoting right now. So, and that's where I've actually generated a lot of the successes that we've generated, where we've launched 7-figure businesses and done some pretty great things. And so that's just a little bit of the background on me and kind of where things are headed for us, but I'm happy to be here.
So, so Randy, one of the things that the tax and accounting professionals are notorious about is actually spending a lot of their time doing the work. Like it is a grind. Like we just finished tax season. It is a grind for most tax and accounting professionals where they are sitting behind their computer, cranking out the work. That client's tax return comes in, they crank out, get it out the door, the bookkeeping, the payroll, the tax planning, all of it, they need to be there to do the work. And that is, I mean, it's good and bad, but I can tell you right now, most accounting professionals and tax professionals are pretty sick of it. They're burnt, they're tired. And so I know that they are looking for other alternative revenue streams where it's real passive income, not just somebody saying from a stage, oh yeah, got some passive income for you. And no, you specialize in helping people get to real passive income where you do the work once and then you get paid for months or years or decades. And so would you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. And I kind of, give you some context around it. Um, again, will have $50,000, $100,000 days in our business. To have those $300,000, $400,000 days in our business, you know what that equates to, right? Or for you to have a successful business, sometimes we equate to the best way that we can generate the most dollars is that we have to introduce more people into our life that we have to deal with and we have to grind with. And so earlier on in my business and career, where I hit those 5-figure, 6-figure days, I found that I was grinding a lot more, meaning that yes, I could close $100,000 in a day, but the challenge is that most of the time that was me taking on a lot more babysitting and grinding in the business. And so I started thinking outside the box and saying, okay, how can I create, can I do things where I can do the work once and I can legitimately, realistically, okay, be paid for it year after year, and I know, people have read all the books and listened to all the experts out there, and you maybe you have, but it's pretty rare to find ways that you can do that are what I would call practical and reasonable. And so what we've done is we've found a practical and reasonable way to do that makes, depending on the type of client you're dealing with, it's just a couple changes in a language pattern, and it makes perfect sense to them as well. And so that's what we've been really focused on, because I like making good money, and you can do it in the way that I'm talking about. But what I don't like is the grind. I find that there's too much in life to enjoy. There's too much in life to experience. There's too many relationships that I have that I value that I've been on a mission over the last several years to say, how can I simplify what I do? If even with, not being really that intelligent, not really having that high of an IQ, and say, it's got to be a way that I can simplify what I'm doing and still make really good money. And it becomes this residual income. And that's what we've set out to do, because here's what I know. There are people out there that are not near as smart as probably you guys that are watching this, or even, not that I'm super intelligent, and they're half as smart as most of us, and they're making 10 times more money. And I'm not talking about athletes. I'm just saying, people out there who figured out simple ways to create leverage in their life. And so that's what I'm doing. And so do I still consult a little bit, and do I still run big digital campaigns? We run digital campaigns. They're big, but they're easy to manage. But our main focus in that is we focus on efforts that we get paid on time after time, again and again and again. So we do the work once. And so one of the things, and I'm getting a little long-winded, but I was just sharing this yesterday with somebody who owns a business. And I said, look, it's a lot easier to continue to sell to an existing customer base than it costs a lot more money and a lot more time and effort to go acquire new customers. And when you understand that, then it comes down to, how can I retain the customers that I have, and how can I increase that value over lifetime without it being super burdensome to me. I believe we figured it out, and not only do I believe it, I know it, because we're doing it, and we're helping a lot of people doing it, and so yeah, that kind of brings it full circle to your question, Chauncey.
So what I like about what I know you guys do, and it's so it's powerful, because you're helping people that do not have a business already. You're helping people like that don't have a bunch of built-in relationships, and don't have a halo over their head of that people already trust them, like an accountant or a tax professional. For an accountant or a tax professional who has hundreds, sometimes 1,000 or 2,000, but let's just call it 100 clients. Most of America tax professionals, they've got 200-300 clients, right? They got I think the average is in that 250 to 300 client range. That is so many people already trusting you. You have built it. They've already given you money. They trust it with their personal tax return. And what you guys do, when you plug that in to an existing network of people that they already know and trust you and like you, and then you ask them to do a simple change, a simple switch in what they're already doing anyway, and all of a sudden you can make ongoing revenue and ongoing passive income from that that sticks up to 96% stick rate for months and years. I mean, this is literally a no-brainer. That's why we want you on the ticket. Like, that's why we want you in the mix for this virtual summit, because most tax and accounting professionals, they have been locked in tax season number one from January to April. All of a sudden, coronavirus hits, everybody shuts down their businesses, everybody shut down the schools, recessions come, people are getting, all this craziness happens, riots in the streets, and they're just trying to do their tax returns. They're just trying to do their work, trying to finish up tax season. And now they're thinking there's got to be a better way, or at least an additional way I could actually help my family and help my livelihood. And I believe you bring that to the table. So we're really excited that you're going to be able to come and speak.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I'd like to kind of give I want to share two things with everybody, if that's all right with you, Chauncey. I'd like to share with your audience with us being in the digital space, we do a lot of online advertising. We write copy. We understand what the language patterns need to be. We understand all of that, and that's why we've had very successful campaigns. But one of the things that I plan on sharing in this workshop that is coming up, and is something that I see that has been really interesting, and that is with this crisis going on, is that I've seen a lot of businesses that they're either pivoting or they're doubling down. And what I mean by doubling down is that they're doubling down on their efforts, but there's something that they're not shifting, whether you're pivoting or doubling down, and that is it's certain language patterns that matter, that are incredibly essential. They're super important. And what I'm seeing is with these language patterns, people's businesses are beginning to be hit, and they're not understanding why. They're like, why shouldn't this should work? This should work for me. I should be at least maintaining, if not growing. But what we're seeing with a lot of businesses, and maybe some of your clients, this is where it's going to be headed for them, is that they can't even make sense of why business is dropping, or it's hard to maintain while others are exploding. Well, I'm going to share with you during this workshop why that's the case. I'm planning on showing you how I've helped a number of businesses pivot during this season correctly, because a lot of people, individuals and businesses, are pivoting down dead-end roads. And I've been watching it. I've had hundreds of phone calls, and last month over 100 calls, the month before over 100 calls, just giving free consultation with people that are asking, what do I do? What do I do? What do I do? Because they're concerned. They're concerned about where things are headed. And what I've seen is it's blatantly obvious to me, but it's not obvious to the masses, especially business owners, is this shift in language that needs to take place. And it's not how you're being super sensitive to COVID. It's not that. It's not how you're being super sensitive to the culture crisis. It's a different language pattern. And most people, 99% of the people that I've talked to are not doing it, and it's severely affecting them. But the people who do understand it, their businesses are exploding. So I plan on sharing that. But that being said, I look forward to being on the webinar with you guys. So I would encourage you to get the ticket for sure.
Yeah. So everybody, this is Randy. He's one of our speakers. He is one of the reasons. There's going to be 7 more or 6 more reasons why this virtual Tax Pro Success Summit is going to be completely different than any other tax or accounting seminar you ever go to. And because it's my 30th year in the tax industry, these tickets are only $30. $30. And so it's a no-brainer. So Emily has put in the chat, or I'm sorry, in the comment section, the link where you can click and get yourself a ticket now. And I would highly recommend you tell other tax and accounting professionals that have not seen this, send it to them and have them get their ticket, because they're not going to miss July 29 and 30th. Yes, I know you're burnt out now, and yeah, I know you're tired, but from the comfort of your own home, your own office, you'll be able to participate with us all day long for 2 days. And it'll help you not only reshape your mind and how you're thinking about what just happened, but you got to go forward. We're all going forward. I mean, your business does not stop. Yes, you are now officially in the off season, but you got to be thinking next, what's ahead. I promise you, your competition is going to snooze and not do what you need. You need to be on this virtual summit so you actually can get ahead of them, not just for this next few months and next tax season, but beyond that as well. So we're really excited that you can jump in with us and join us. Randy, really appreciate your time today. That's all we got for now, everybody. And thank you very much. And we will see you at the summit. See you later.